Full screen.
I was expecting something along the lines of the PS4 Pro, where you would get like some 4K content, but it would be kind of above HD, 1080p HD, but not quite 4K all the time. What were you like thinking it would be, and what surprised you most so far with the Xbox One X, Alex?
All right, so I think I don't know if the free play mode audience saw. I actually put an unboxing video and the first time boot up of the Xbox One X last night, and I would have had it out earlier, but like post production and editing and all that, and my dog barking. So with that, I did some extensive testing with some of the titles that I was even surprised that had Xbox One X enhancements, like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, to name one. After you download the patch, you'll come to find that there are a lot more games that might start taking advantage of the hardware. But initially, like when you look at the system, it looks like a more compact, more sleek, like a stealth bomber version of the Xbox One S. And then when you fire that thing up, immediately, I have a 4K TV, and I started seeing a lot of the differences. And unfortunately, those with you with the Elgato HD60, unplug it. You have to plug it directly to the TV to see all the benefits of the 4K. My impressions of it, at first I had like buyer's remorse because initially it looked like the same UI, but when you really look, think of it like Windows. You know, when you Windows 10, you put in I guess like enhanced features or animated windows and icons and stuff. It kind of seems like that because the dashboard responds quicker. There's a lot more fluidity with transitions, pulling in, you know, the guide button and what have you. But a couple of games I did get to see, Halo 5, Killer Instinct, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Injustice, Gears of War 3, the Xbox 360. Now that game, I wish I could stream it, but I don't have a 4K capture device. But when you look at Gears of War 3 and all the benefits that it got from the Xbox One X enhancements, man, let me tell you, a good example, without going too far, is when you're in the final level of Gears of War 3, and you see the considerable frame rate drops and when a lot of things are going on, that is completely eliminated. When I mean that, there were times where I was questioning if it was going between 60 and 50 frames per second. It was like playing a PC version of that game. A lot of people are naysaying and saying that, oh yeah, the Xbox One X is going to be a bust, it's going to be this and that and the third. Microsoft, without sounding like I'm tooting their horn too much, did an incremental update or a midterm upgrade right. It was almost as if like Sony jumped the gun with the PlayStation 4 Pro and did like the Ultra Super Saiyan form, and it got all the bulk and all that bells and whistles. But Microsoft hit Super Saiyan 2 right. They waited. They you know, got feedback from the developers, and this has the power to do the things that I believe that they had the ambition or the foresight for the other, well, the original Xbox One. But you know, it saddens me, games like Scalebound didn't get to survive long enough to see the power of this system, because we all know Scalebound, there was a performance issue as to why it got canceled with frame rate. The Xbox One X will solve a lot of that. I mean, I can go on and on, but you know, I want to give free play mode a chance to speak on it. But I mean, I think
it's interesting that you brought up Scalebound, because I don't think that game would have saw the light of day even if it survived to the Xbox One X, because like Microsoft, much like Sony, is tooting parity. Like if you release something for the Xbox One X, you gotta release it for the Xbox One original hardware as well. So I think that's where you would see something like the Xbox One X and ultimately PlayStation 4 Pro like holding games and developers back. And I wonder how long that's going to last, because now with both companies having their premium systems on the market, I think you're going to start to see more and more developers go, look, we can't make this for your original hardware without sacrificing a lot of graphics and frame rate issues and stuff like that. And you just got to let us rock with, hey, this is going to be PlayStation 4 Pro only, or this is going to be Xbox One X only.
Oh, yeah, that's inevitable. That's inevitable. Eventually, it's going to be, okay, those are now the flagship systems. They're no longer going to be gimped or held back. Now, you do know that Microsoft did reverse their position on that and said
they did, but they didn't reverse it entirely. They loosened the restrictions, but it's going to be interesting to see from both companies going forward. But
it would be easy though if it's like doing a PC game, make it for the highest common denominator and then scale it back for the other systems. That's it. I don't see why Microsoft had complicated it like that. You know what I mean? Because truth be told, most of the games are developed with PC in mind, and then they acclimate them to the consoles of choice. Look at Sonic Force, right? I didn't know that game came out, but you know, if you
Let's not talk about that game. That's a horrible game.
I didn't even know it came out. It flew under the radar, but I'm gonna be picking that up because I'm a Sonic fan. Like if you saw me playing Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania, you know, it's what it is. I don't know anything about it, so I'm just gonna go on there with an empty cup. However, the reason why I brought up Sonic Force is the fact that you see the parity between the Switch, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox, and Xbox One X. And you see how the One X has like the, you know, clearest version, and then the second to, you know, then you got the Pro. You know what I mean? You can make it for like the One X all its glory, and then scale it back until you get to, you know, the other systems. So with the One S, I don't think that, you know, they should hold the Xbox One X back because of it. Let it rock, let it do its thing, and then just adopt it or you know, get it acclimated to the S if they have to pull back. That's it. You know,
that's a good point. It's a good point. But getting some of my initial impressions on the Xbox One X, because I got Forza 7 and I've got Forza Horizon 3, and those games look amazing in 4K. Like I've been playing them on the PC because I have the digital versions of those, and they play great on the PC. But when you play them in 4K, 60 frames per second, they do look amazing. And I went back and tested like some Xbox 360 games like Skate 3, and Skate 3, I was not expecting them to like support 4K on Skate 3, and that game, it just looks amazing. So if you haven't played Skate 3, or if you don't got Skate 3, or if you sold it and want to go back out and get it, I highly recommend it. And also tested some original Xbox games like Knights of the Old Republic and Ninja Gaiden Black. And those games also look great.
They look sharp. They look
sharp. They look sharper.
And
the load times on the original Xbox games are very, very short. So I definitely recommend getting some OG Xbox games. Like if you can
I want to jump in on that with the load times. The load times are being, that's with the expectation that you have it on the internal terabyte drive. It doesn't take into account external hard drives, because when I was loading a couple of titles, it took a while. Maybe it's because like the you know, my One X is like waking up and still initializing a lot of titles. But if you have a external hard drive, hopefully you have a solid state or something, or like Thumb Thrasher Gaming has. He has an 8 terabyte. And what's the limitation on external storage? It's like 6 terabytes.
I think it's 5.
It's 5. Yeah, still not enough. They gotta bump it up, but
Yeah, let's get into the storage space right now, because like literally your first day when you get an Xbox One X will be spent downloading
everything. Yes, it was in my video as well. I'm sitting there having to pause the video, like literally from when I plugged the system in to by the time I was done, it was literally like 45 minutes. And then that's not even starting to play your games, okay? Because if you have a game like Killer Instinct and you have downloadable content, you have to reinstall it. It's like you got literally. I put Killer Instinct, and it was just like Aria, freaking, Eagle, all that, all the DLC had to. It's like you're literally starting all over.
Yeah, like, and for me, I've got a lot of backwards compatibility games, and I got a lot of free stuff, and I got a lot of digital titles on my Xbox. I had a lot of original titles on digital titles on my original Xbox One. Mm-hmm. So I had roughly like 120 games to update when I first turned it on. Mm-hmm. And mind you, I didn't go to a midnight launch. Like, mine was waiting for me when I got home from work at 3:30 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. So from like 3:30 in the afternoon until roughly 10 o'clock at night, it was literally nothing but downloading updates for games.
And I have like 200 something games. Like, I had a large library. I'm not even halfway done. I still got stuff to go back into, like Battlefield 1. I didn't even go to install it. I'm like, no way, because I know it's gonna be like ridiculous, But this is just being real. We're not gonna put the Thor's hammer to, Microsoft or anything. And
it's just the reality of 4K gaming now, because like Forza 7 in total 95 gigs. Forza Horizon 3 in total 80 gigs.
Halo is over. It's over 100. Like, it's ridiculous. It's
freaking Halo 5 is 110 gigs with the 4K update.
What about Gears of War? I think Gears of War is now like 94.
Yeah,
or 96.
Gears of War 4 is 96 gigs. So that's
like, insane.
If you have, like, I'm sorry, people, if you have like just regular DSL or like slower speeds on your cable internet, you got to bump it up, because you are literally going to be spending days downloading patches and 4K texture updates for your old games, because that's how big they are.
Well, that's if they're even going to, like, okay, for instance, if they want to enjoy the 4K, then you have to adopt the assets or the resources to get the 4K enhancements. Okay, if truth be told, soldiers, my battle buddies, if you're deployed, you're not getting 4K gaming. Period. Done. We already know how spotty the internet is over there. Unless Microsoft and future games that
it's not even Microsoft, just developers in general. They just need to start including this stuff
on the disc. Now, here's the thing too, where they updated the Microsoft library so that, because of the storage and the space limitations, you know how if you, for instance, a game like Metal Gear, right? You are installing the French, the German, the English audio. You're downloading all this extra stuff. You can now, like, I know at a later date in time, that you can remove some of the bloatware, so to speak, where you won't need to put in French audio or Spanish audio. You know what I mean? And that takes a considerable amount of space of uncompressed audio, which bumps up the space. So I think at some point in the future we will see some sort of relief with it. But right now it hurts. It hurts a lot. But
oh, no doubt. Like, I've got a 3 terabyte external hard drive and combine with my the 1 terabyte that's in the Xbox One X, it's literally half full.
Now here's the thing: if you're doing digital only, and
if you're doing digital only, you just fuck.
yeah. I'm thinking now I have to go back to getting disc games because I'm like, holy hell! But you know what? One day, and I'm calling it now. And shout out to Tough Nerd Toys because he probably will agree with me when I say this. Everything is gonna be streamed. You will no longer have to worry about, disc space and all that, because you're gonna purchase a license for the game and stream it to these super exotic, super powerful machines. It's gonna go the way of PlayStation Now. Believe me when I tell you.
I think what Microsoft and Sony need to start doing is allowing the game to be played off the disc again, instead of having to deal with these huge downloads.
But I'm telling you, it's getting to that point. The technology will kind of send us in that direction. They want to control the media, okay? That you utilize. They want you to play it a certain way. So yeah, putting everything on the disc, it might bump up the price of production. You know what I mean? Because they'll try to justify, hey, this is $60 and trying to. One day I think we're gonna have $80 games. Yeah, I'm calling it.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would venture to say that since we're entering this era of 4K gaming, I would honestly say within the next 18 to 24 months, I would not be surprised to see games starting to cost between like $70 to $80 on the regular.
We're heading into Neo Geo territory. That's gonna be like, oh, hold on, what? It costs what?
I'm also making another prediction, in that we are entering the era of the end of the AAA title.
You know what? I hate to agree with you on this, but yeah, I think games are gonna become more of a service than they are the AAA stuff. Sony might hang on to this for a while, but like Microsoft has somewhat abandoned, or they're slowly abandoning it. You won't find games like Metal Gear Solid anymore, Splinter Cell.
No, I think you will find them, but they will be like very like
rare.
Like Activision and EA and other bigger publishers. They release like maybe 3 to 4 AAA titles a year, and they'll cost like nearly $1 billion to make those games, those 4 games a year. And
I'm like, what?
As we're seeing with EA, they're going away from single player games because they need to make money off of those AAA titles like your Battlefronts and your
the service games, that where they can do microtransactions. That's what it's boiling down to.
But that's another discussion for another day. Let's get back onto this Xbox One X. So Alex, like right now as it stands, like, because the Xbox One X, I'm not going to deny that it's not an amazing piece of hardware, because it is. And to achieve parity with that on a PC gaming level, you will need to spend at least $900 to do that.
No, a grand minimum.
Well,
if you want to get it at elite level, you're looking at no less than $1,000. And if you're going balls to the wall, Hodge twins, like with the nuts hanging out, you're looking at like $225 or better. I had one of my soldiers buy something. It wasn't like the Predator PC. I think that was like what, a couple thousand. He spent $3,500 on a souped up PC to play Battlegrounds, or the game that everybody's crazy about.
PUBG.
Yeah, he was playing PUBG at 60 frames per second, no drop, and that on the PC. If you see how expansive and how the dynamic range for the draw distances were set up for that, I'm like, bro, like literally, it was like he was in the cockpit of a fighter jet when he turned that thing on. I'm like, what the hell is this? It was crazy.
No, but I'm not talking about going like insane with your PC purchase. I mean, like to build something that's comparable to an Xbox One X. It's at least not.
That's why it's gonna sell. That's why right now it's a tough sell because of the cost.
That's what I'm getting to. Like, is it worth the money at $499.99?
If you're a working person, like you and myself, Shinwar, and the rest of our associates, if you're a working person, yes. If you're gaming on a budget, no. If you want to get something comparable or something like that can compete with a current mid, like a high mid-level PC, that's bang for your buck. Because you know, for what Microsoft is offering, I think they're taking it either at even or a little bit of a loss. I think they're thinking long term for this, but for what it can do, $500, kudos to them. To them.
Like, I can't even say if you're a working person, this is worth the price. I would say if you are above entry level and you're a console gamer and you have a 4K television or planning on getting a 4K television, then yes, if you're above entry level position at your job and you've got some extra money to spend, yeah, it's worth it. If you are some dude working at Mickey D's or Best Buy or Walmart, or
if you're on child support, no.
If you have some entry level position, I would say no, it's not worth, because this is like a decision purchase. Like, this is the kind of purchase where you have to decide, okay, what am I gonna go without for a little bit so I can save up to get this? What kind of funds am I gonna have to shift around? All that stuff.
Or you could do like us, stream on YouTube, you know, make a brand and then have sponsors help you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I only had to cover.
That fortunate.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to rub it in.
Like,
Juggernaut.
If you have a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro, is it worth it? If this is going to be your console for multi-plats, yes.
Yeah, you know what? Can I jump in? Who was it? Francis? The dude, I forget his YouTube
Boogie.
handle. Now he made an excellent point. I was telling some people who thought that, oh yeah, you just hate Sony. Here's the thing: the PlayStation 4 Pro didn't justify it for what for me. Why I didn't get it is it didn't jump enough. This system is almost doing 40% more than what the Xbox original can do. That's why I said
it's doing 40% more than what the PlayStation 4 Pro can do.
Well, damn.
It's like It's like 60% over an original Xbox One X.
So
Xbox One.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's like the performance justifies what you're getting, and for me, I got it knowing that more is to come. There's gonna be some great things happening. Like, I'm gonna test Metal Gear Rising on there because we had some slowdown on some couple areas.
I tested Bayonet on there, and that is like a smooth 60 frames per
second.
second.
They even had the side-by-side comparison showing where the frame drops on the 360 in the original Xbox One was doing, and it's definitely noticeable. And these are non-patch games. Some of the non-patch games are running better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
like, and here's another thing. Like, if you're just getting into this console generation, I still wouldn't recommend it for $500. I'd wait for the price drop for at least $450.
$499 Racer. That was funny.
Like, also, another way I would recommend this is if you have an original Xbox One and you can, like, an S or an original model, and you can get like $100 or to $150 for it, take the sting off a little bit, then I'd recommend it if you can do that as well.
Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, now I don't know what to do. I gave my OG Xbox to my brother-in-law who's on active duty, and I have an Xbox One S that I'm thinking I might go trade it in for games or something, like, because I am not going back. Like, that Xbox One X, once you've been bitten, or if you taste that sweet nectar of 4K, you're not going back. That's it. Like, see, and I probably will hold on to it just to poke fun at it and see, like, for instance, Gears of War 3. which I extensively went through on the final level with all that chaos going on. I'm like, man, they really, really delivered. And I think they intentionally undersold the system at what it can do, so that by the time it came to, like, now we have it in our hands. We've been waiting for this for 18 months, and now it's in our hands, and it's doing more than what we thought it can do. It's like, yeah, my mind is blown. You know, like they're even showing like the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and how, you know, games like that, if they really wanted to push it, how these multiplats are going to crush the PlayStation 4 Pro. Even Digital Foundry didn't want to say it in that way, but they're just like, there are things that the Xbox One X can do that the PlayStation Pro cannot do. You just need to make another system. For it to go Super Saiyan Blue like that, damn. Good stuff, Microsoft. And I'm hoping that they can now get the game support, because yeah, we can have...
That's where we need to go, man. Like, that's the next thing that we're about to talk about, is like, what is, now that the power is there, like, will the support come? Because that was the hang up with developers and their support for the original Xbox One hardware. But here's the thing, will those developers like be swayed by the Xbox One X but turned off that they also have to make the game for the original Xbox One?
No, like I told you, all they have to do is make the Xbox One X version and then scale it down for the other system. That's it. That solves all the development woes. You know what I mean? I think for right now, because certain games are already out, it's gonna hurt. But if they go forward and make it with the Xbox One X in mind and scale everything back, there should be no freaking excuse. Developers saying, oh, the Xbox OG wasn't powerful enough. Now there's no excuse. You have the most powerful console at your disposal. Make use of it. They always talking about, oh yeah, we want to see our vision uncompromised. You have a platform to do it. You know, so let's see if they're gonna put up or shut up at this point.
Good point. So, final thoughts, Alex. Where do you see the Xbox One X in a year? Like this time next year, where do you see it?
Well, pointing out a couple of things. Yeah, there's some noticeable titles, like, you know, for me, and I know some people are gonna make some, you know, aren't really don't care, but if a Street Fighter V was on the Xbox One X with enhancements, man, Capcom missed out on an opportunity to really push, you know, their brand on a platform that people are going to start picking up. Right now, the Xbox One X is in a unique position where it's actually impressing people. It's about the games, it has the power, and now other folks on the other side of the house, yeah, they already invested in PlayStation. The 360 guys who defected and went to PlayStation, I hope that those people get pulled back, and going forward in a year, I see that, you know, Microsoft has reversed the direction that Matrix had sent these guys in. Phil Spencer hopefully can get the gaming studios, because they're looking to acquire game studios and open up new ones. So I see Xbox One X as having a plethora, a new library of new IPs, and bringing back third-party support. So I think that they're not gonna, you know, break even with the PlayStation user base. That's just, it's too far. But they're gonna make a considerable jump, and if by next year that there's a price drop for what this thing can do, it's gonna fly off the shelves. I'm telling you, I think that they're in a better position. Plus, where Phil Spencer is with the Microsoft brand, the Xbox is here to stay.
Like in a year, I believe that this will be the go-to platform for your multi-platform titles.
Oh yeah.
Because even though I'm not a fan of most Sony first party titles, like their first party lineup is very impressive with The Last of Us.
Indeed.
And upcoming titles. So
Infamous,
you can't
and
beat
such.
that. Like that's the thing where I think that Microsoft is hurting the most is that while I enjoy Forza and while I enjoy Gears of War, their first party lineup and their first party their exclusivity is very much lacking. So I think in a year, as you said, I think they'll step that up now that they have the hardware to back up. Like,
yeah,
hey,
they can focus on the games now. They future-proof this. You know,
well, they didn't future-proof it, but I think this will get another 4 years out of the Xbox One brand.
Well,
Like,
I'll tell you this: when you got games like Titanfall, which supposedly on paper can do more than 4K, they had it with the future in mind, because now you don't have to worry about if you got a supercharged engine in your car. All you got to worry now is about the cosmetics and getting all the bells and whistles in there. You know what I mean? So they have the housing, they have the motor, they got the horsepower. You know, now put the accessories to utilize that power and get those games, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, like they'll shore up their third-party support. Like a year from now, we'll see like the same. We'll see. I'd say 90% of what's on PlayStation 4 you'll see on Xbox One X by this time next year.
And you know what's gonna hurt? I was playing Tomb Raider extensively last night. Whew, man, that is the game that's going to be utilized as the benchmark for what that thing could possibly do to older games. And then if you have the Xbox One X in mind, if the developers say, hey, I'm making Destiny 3 and we're going to keep the Xbox One X as like the premier version, my gosh, it's going to be out of reach in terms of trying to catch it in quality in the console space. You know, obviously PC is always going to dominate, because right now the Xbox One X made ripples in the water, but the PC is forever changing, so that's a different fight.
I don't see this as like making ripples in the water. I see this as like putting a boulder in the middle of a stream and changing the course of the stream.
Nicely put.
Like, cause what I mean by that is like all the stuff that you said and all the stuff that I said in the year. This is gonna cause Sony to make some very, very important decisions about where they want to, what they're gonna be going forward. Is like, are they gonna do a PlayStation 5 within the next year or two? Because their PlayStation 4 Pro will no longer be the most powerful system, and not by a little bit either. The PlayStation 4 Pro is no longer the most powerful system by a lot, and it's going to create some interesting questions within Sony. It's like, do we rock with this another 3 years? Do we release the PlayStation 5
free play mode? You already know. They, you know, when the specs start coming out for the Scorpio and the Xbox, well, now the Xbox One X, Sony has a way of, oh yeah, we're announcing the PlayStation 5, just to kind of deter and throw shade or trying to pull attention away from the Xbox One X. Now we know that what was that? They were talking about, oh, that's if we make a PlayStation 5. It was on an interview. No, they were. It was said, and I won't quote him, but I'm gonna paraphrase what Stone Fox Media was saying in one of his shows, where it was like, yeah, that's if we make a PlayStation 5. Then all of a sudden, the Scorpio Xbox One X comes out. They're like, okay, PlayStation 5 is confirmed. They forced Sony's hand, and everything with that PlayStation 5 will be created in a retaliatory manner. It will be in a way to overdo or stomp over the Xbox One X, and they're gonna have to take some time to do it. You know what I mean?
It's not only that they're gonna have to take some time to do it. They're gonna risk alienating a huge chunk of their fan base who invested in the PlayStation 4 Pro and still have PlayStation 4s, because, like, let's be real, like, PlayStation 4 base console is no slouch. It's a good console. Like, but Sony wanted to get into the 4K gaming sphere with the PlayStation 4 Pro. So now you are at an interesting crossroads. Like, okay, how long do we let the the PlayStation 4 brand breathe? Like, how long do we do that before
we
introduce the PlayStation 5? Because people know the PlayStation 5 is on the horizon. It's just how far off is that horizon?
Yeah. And you know, with that too, they are in the lead right now. They don't have to really change anything. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's gonna matter though. Like, even though the PlayStation 4 is like dominating and is mopping up the Nintendo Switch and it's mopping up the Xbox One brand of consoles, I expect that lead to kind of diminish. Not a huge chunk, but a significant chunk by this time next year. I think you won't see a 2-to-1 gap, but maybe a 1.5 to 1 gap by this time next year.
You know what?
I think that's gonna be what determines how far off the PlayStation 5 is.
True. And what I would say this, you know, in my final statement, for those of you who remember the first Fast and Furious movie, when Paul Walker's character was racing Vin Diesel in that first race, and he was pushing all that turbo, like, dude, I almost had you. It's literally gonna be like that. You know what I mean? You know, Vin Diesel was freaking Sony, got out in the lead and all that. And Microsoft is going to make a valiant effort. It's going to make it exciting. It'll be a thriller at the end, but we know Sony got this. You know, kudos to them. They did everything right that Microsoft did wrong with Dan Matrick at the wheel. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, let's just hope that gamers on both sides of the house, now that Microsoft has something that will make Sony step their game up, you're going to see a lot of good content, a lot of developers fighting. Yeah, guys.
This is a good time to be a gamer. Like, it's been a while since I've said that, but this is a very, very good time to be a gamer. Even if you're a jaded gamer, this is going to be a very exciting time to be a gamer.
All right, awesome. So, free play mode, thank you for having me on. You know, for the New Gaming Order audience and free play mode audience, the Juggernaut's always, you know, hey, if I have time, I love to cross the fence and kick it with my high school buddy, the Bloomfield champ, D Mizzle.
Yo, thanks for coming by, man, and thanks for blessing with your presence. This is the free play mode with the New Gaming Order's Alex Lexus.
Hitting you with the head crush, yeah.
Hoping you have a good evening. Peace, folks. We're out.